3 tablespoons of curry powder in a bowl. And we're going to sort of make a sort of a slurry. All of the seasoning, everything else is going to go in here. So I'm going in with some fresh ground black pepper, garam masala, jeera or roasted cumin, anchar masala, and water. The full recipe itself will be available, printable that is, at caribbeanpot.com. So now here's the thing, if you wanted to season and marinate the beef overnight, you can certainly do that. For that, you would use Caribbean green seasoning, salt, Scotch bonnet pepper, and give it a good mix, yeah? But we're doing things a little bit differently. So I'm going to just give this a quick stir. I just want to combine everything that we added in here. I'm trying to be gentle so I don't make a mess. And that ginger is going to give it some lovely flavor. That garam masala, the jeera, or what we call, or what most people call roasted cumin, is just proper things, yeah. Gotta go in with garlic, Scotch bonnet pepper. We've got onions, and of course Caribbean green seasoning. And being very gentle, I just wanted to mix that thoroughly. Yes, I did use an entire Scotch bonnet pepper, but you can use, well, first of all, if you don't like it overly spicy, you don't have to use that Scotch bonnet pepper. But if you don't have Scotch bonnet pepper, you can use a jalapeno, habanero, a fatale, whatever, you know, bird's eye, or anything that you can source or you like, yeah? But just look at the density of flavors in here, and boy, oh gosh. A wicked combo, eh? I ain't gonna lie. I know. I've got 2.5 tablespoons of olive oil in my pot on a medium flame. And we're gonna go in with that sort of curry masala kind of combination we have there. And we'll hit that to stir. We're gonna bring that up to a sort of a sizzle. Sort of a, yeah, like what you're seeing there. And then we're gonna turn the heat down to medium. We want to cook out all the water. In cooking out that water, a couple things will happen. One, the spices which makes up the curry powder and the garam masala and all those different things will start to bloom. The second thing is going to happen, it's going to cook out the rawness out of the curry. And I'm sure you've bought or you've cooked or you've been to people's houses where that curry left you going to the facilities. It is, in most cases, they didn't cook out that rawness of that curry. I guarantee you that. So what I'm going to do now is turn down that heat to medium and let that water cook out until we get that dark, sort of grainy, sort of clumpy, sort of start seeing the oils on the bottom of the pot, which we started off with. It's been about 5 minutes on that medium heat, and you can see I'm getting separation when I pass my spoon in the bottom of the pot there, and you can start seeing all the oils on the top. That is exactly where we want it to be. I'm going to give it 1 more minute before we add the beef. And the beef has been cubed up into 1.5 inch pieces, and it's very lean. This is why I started off with that 2.5, almost 3 tablespoons of olive oil at the start, because I'm trying to compensate for that lack of fat in the beef. Now, if you want it lean and remain lean, you can cut back on the amount of oil that you start off with. Now here's the other thing, if you wanted to start off with coconut oil, vegetable oil, canola oil, corn oil, whatever oil fancies your taste, yeah, rock that, yeah? But for now, 1 more minute, and you notice the color also changed, and it's starting to clump together, the onions are nice and soft, and that Scotch bonnet pepper gave it that wicked sort of blow blow. To compensate for heat loss, as I add the beef, I'm going to turn it up to medium high, and I'll start adding the beef. And remember what I said, it wasn't seasoned or marinated overnight, but if that is what you want to do, you can certainly do that. We have enough flavor in here and seasoning from that Caribbean green seasoning, and you'll notice in my recipes, and it's because my granny, my mommy, my granny's granny, we never used that all-purpose seasoning and the other little cubes and the other little packets that comes with that powder stuff inside. They never used that, and they got wicked flavor. That in itself is a problem with our people, you know, high blood pressure and all them things. Be smart, read the ingredients on those little packages, all right? Just want to move that around, and we want to coat the pieces of beef with that lovely curry base that we created there. Now the pieces of beef, like I said, 1.5 inch pieces, and you can use the cheapest cut of beef if you want. I'm gonna try to break the bank on this because, you know, we're just gonna braise this for an hour and a half to 2 hours, and there's no sense in using expensive cuts of beef. I mean, if you have the money, yeah, rock it, but again, there's no real need for it, yeah. And that is one of the other reasons why I didn't season and marinate this beef overnight, is because it's gonna be cooking in here for so long. It will develop its own flavor. It will be able to infuse into the deep within the pieces of the beef. It's been going for about 15 minutes now with my lid on, and notice how much liquid it naturally sprouted up. What we need to do at this point is a couple things. I will go in with salt, and I'm going a little bit heavy with the salt simply because I know I'm putting pigeon peas in here. And the second thing we are going to do, remember we didn't put any salt in this dish yet. We're going to crank up the heat to medium high because we want to burn off all of that liquid and concentrate the flavor of the curry, because we've got about 3.5 cups of pigeon peas. Yeah, peas are in season, so I thought why not, but this is from the frozen section in the grocery store here in Canada. So with that salt will be enough for adding the peas. It will compensate for adding the peas later on. And all I did was I thawed them and I rinsed them in cool water, drained that water, removed any of the peas with the blemishes. Why am I stuttering? Anyhow, we're gonna add that peas in about 5-10 minutes once this cooks down and we burn off all of that liquid. On that medium-high flame, it took about another 10 minutes to burn off most of that liquid. What we have on the bottom here is a nice thick slurry, and I'm starting to see the oils and stuff like that. So this is when we're gonna introduce the pigeon peas to the pot now. And of course, we've got to give that a stir. My heat is still on medium-high. I want to sort of make sure the peas is all coated with that curry. Give that a good stir. We'll need water to braise this, and I'm going to continue adding some more water in there. In total, you'll probably need about 6 to 8 cups of water, because we're going to bring this up to a boil and allow it to go on between a rolling boil and a simmer, because that peas is going to take long to cook. And you know, I grew up enjoying curry beef. The odd time mom would cook curry beef for us. We weren't big fans of curry growing up, except for curry aloo. We just love aloo with sauce, man. Curry potato with sauce and curry pigeon peas. But I want the beef fork tender. Now here's the thing. I mentioned earlier about the cut of beef, and use a cheap cut if you wanted. The other thing you can do for maximum flavor is to use a few pieces of beef bones in here. That beef bone will give it, you know, a lovely depth of flavor there. Like, you know, it's uncomparable when it comes to using boneless versus bone. I'm telling you, boy, don't sleep on the bone. We've got tiny bubbles starting to happen all the way around. So what I'm going to do is hit that one more stir, and you can see I added a lot more water into the pot. We're going to turn the heat down to medium low, and we're going to put the lid on. Boom. Leave a little space for it to breathe, yeah? It's been going for 2 hours and 15 minutes. Yeah, I've stirred it quite a number of times, and I did add a couple more cups of water in here because I want, you know, it looks runny at this point, but there's a reason for that. What we're going to do now is put some of the peas to the side, and we're going to squash it with the back of my spoon here, because that's going to help give the overall curry gravy a bit of texture. But the peas are fully cooked, the beef is nice and tender. Here's where you will taste it for salt, and as I said, you're going to use your spoon, the back of your spoon, to crush some of the peas. Sup, soldiers? Listen, if you enjoy this recipe, I'd really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and click that bell notification thing. If you've made the recipe, take a picture and send it to me, email address down here, I mean, trying to tell people the email address, them bots will take the address and do all kind of thing with it. And tag me on Instagram at Caribbean Pod. I really appreciate you guys, and thanks for being in my kitchen with me today. Irie. Chris here, CaribbeanPod.com. Always a pleasure having you all in the kitchen with me. Curry beef with pigeon peas. I got the peas out of the frozen section in the grocery store. Yes, you can use canned pigeon peas as well, but the cook time will pretty much be the same because we want that beef nice and tender. Always a pleasure, like I said, having you all in the kitchen with me. I do hope you get an opportunity to give this one a try. It will thicken up further. Yeah, you know, you're seeing that runny sort of gravy there, but it will thicken up further as it cools down. Plus, I only just squashed the peas, so it will take a few minutes to thicken up a little bit, but the residual heat will do that. Irie.